grew up here for the most part of my life. I wasn't born here. I've lived here since I was 6, and my dad's from Amsterdam. So yeah, it's a place that's close to my heart. It's like a big village. It's a very nice place to live, and you get to know people very easily and very quickly here. Amsterdam people are good friends to have because they'll tell you exactly what they think of you. There's not really a certain style in general that you can say that is Amsterdam, that is Dutch. When it comes to sneakers, okay, the Air Max 1 and the Air Max 90, I guess. That's a very Dutch and especially very Amsterdam sneaker. But in general, I guess people kind of pick and mix a bit, and they look at stuff from the States or stuff from France, from Paris, sometimes a bit couture-ish too, and they tend to mix and match. And also you get a lot of different cultures and subcultures here, so that also makes for a very interesting mix of fashion that you see in the streets. Since my high school, I've always kind of had a thing for, you know, the sneakers that I guess kind of the cool kids used to wear. As with most European countries, runners are very big here. So, of course, the 90s and the 87s are the ones, are very big. But before that, if you go like a generation before I grew up, the V series, so the Vortex, Vengeance, and like the 89 Pegasus and Epics, they were also really big here. I think my favorite pair of sneakers at the moment is a pair of Air Force Ones, samples from around 1999-2000. All white midsole, kind of like a beige swoosh, beige lining, and like the good kind of satin lining that the Air Force used to have. Really good leather, good shape, and it's just kind of the most simple Air Force One, but just the shape and the materials are perfect. And nah, I wouldn't sell them. It's the kind of shoe that I really love, and I don't wear them that often, but I will keep them until they're worn to the ground. I started customizing shoes by buying a pair of like Dunks or Air Forces in sale, and like, yeah, they're cool, but it would be cooler if the swoosh was like blue, or if the toe box was maybe like a different color, you know. Basically, I just went around to shoe stores, like shoe repair stores, and bought like the paint they sold there to repair your shoes with, and first I just painted it on, and of course everything started to crack, you know, and at a certain point, why does the paint crack? Because it's not elastic enough, and then you start to add certain chemicals to see if you can get it more elastic. And because this is like before there were like websites or tutorials on how to customize sneakers, and it's something that I actually always did for myself and for friends. I've done a few pairs for like Butter when they first opened up, and a handful of pairs for people overseas who like took the trouble to email me like, I really like this design, could you make something for me? But it's never something that I did on a big scale, purely because it takes so much time. I started painting signs pretty much because I've been a graphic designer for over 10 years now. I've always had a thing for letters, and I used to do a bit of graffiti back in the day also. But at a certain point I found myself as a graphic designer just sitting or in an office or at home or in the studio just behind the computer every day. And that's kind of killing. And I really wanted to start to work with my hands again. So I kind of started doing like script lettering with brush pens, and that was fine, but I was still missing something. And at a certain point, about 2.5 years ago, this documentary on sign painters, was released. I saw a trailer of it, and I thought, it was really interesting. And at the same time, I saw that this sign painter called Mike Meyer was coming over to do a workshop here in Amsterdam. So I went to do his workshop, and we met quite a lot of people there who had the same interests. And a few months later, the documentary that I was talking about, it premiered here in Amsterdam, and I went to see the documentary, and I met the same people that I'd done the workshop with. And afterwards we were drinking beers, and we got together, and we were all a bit in the same boat. You know, we were graphic designers or typographers or working at a agency, you know. And we'd all kind of had enough of like the computer and the digital age, and we really liked this. So we were like, let's see if we can kind of start up a little thing together. Since the beginning of this year, it's an official company, and we're doing well. There's not a lot of people who do it. It's kind of a lost craft. So going to Sneakerness this year was especially interesting for me. Because first off, I get to meet people who I've known online for a while, and I get to meet them in life for the first time, like the guy who's organizing Sneakerness here, Matthijs. And it was really cool to see him in real life now, and you know, I have a little chat with him, and he's a really nice guy. And I also saw a good friend of mine again, Quincy Quills. He's a really talented illustrator who's doing a lot of big things kind of like in the sneaker scene. He's a guy I've known online for, I guess, a good 15 years, and in real life for 10 years. And it's funny because you know each other from online, and you've known each other for like 5 years, and at a certain point you meet each other and you've already got that kind of a click. It's really weird. It's kind of like a blind date thing, like for sneaker freaks. Yeah, and then you don't see each other for a long time because he lives in the south, I live in the north, but there's always kind of that contact and that kind of level you're on, and then it's really great to come to a place like Sneakerness and see him how he has his little store and he's doing his drawings, and you know, you can catch up. I'm Alex Klerk from Amsterdam, 34 years old. I'm a sign painter and graphic designer, and I also have a lot of shoes.